Jalen Hurts is coming off one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a quarterback, especially one that many Eagles fans consider a top 5 quarterback in the entire NFL. So I want to jump in the film and see, does Jalen Hurts suck, or what is wrong with this Philadelphia Eagles team? Let's dive into the film. On this first play here, we're going to come out in a 2x2 formation. We're going to motion out the running back to the outside to come out in empty, and you see we can the play here as Jalen Hurts, because what Jalen Hurts notices is because we have a corner out here on this outside lined up on our running back, that tells us that they're in cover 3 zone. And ultimately in cover 3, 99% of the time, this outside corner here is going to have a deep zone. This one's going to have a deep zone. And then one of these two will have a deep zone. Typically this one, unless they're running cover 3 cloud, which would put this safety up and this one to the boundary. So what that instantly tells us here, if we're Jalen Hurts, is even though I hate this concept because we're just going to run a ton of hitches right here, it tells us that one of these outside 2 hitches right here should be open. Okay. And that's because one of these guys should be dropping off harder to get to their zone. Now you would guess that it would be the one lined up on your X receiver, but it's actually going to be the one out here to our running back. Do we love throwing to our running back on 3rd and 4 when he's lined up this far off the ball because he's to the field side, right? You'd prefer to throw to the boundary, but we have to do what we have to do here, and watch Jalen Hurts just completely miss this read, right? He looks over the middle to Goddard, realizes that no one's got their eyes back to him and everyone's covered, and instead of just continuing through his read progression and getting to the top of your screen, he holds the ball, tries to escape late, and gets sacked. Okay, on this next one right here, we're coming out in 1st and 20 after a holding call. We're going to motion DeVonta Smith across the formation because we're going to have actually a really cool route concept called up here for a deep shot. And what it's going to be, we're going to have a deep post right here out of DeVonta Smith. We're going to have a backside dig that's meant to hold this safety right here, specifically if it's a cover 3 type of zone, because he's past the linebackers and he's inside of this corner. So this safety should have to pull down, and that should give us this touchdown over the top. And then we're also going to have Dallas Goedert here on a little bit shorter of an end. Everything to pretty much hold these safeties right here so that we can throw to the middle of the field and throw DeVonta Smith open. He's supposed to stack this corner, which means he's supposed to be on this side of the corner. And once he does that, Jalen Hurts just has to lead him up the field to the middle so it's not a pick, and he's going to have a touchdown. You see DeVonta does a great job stacking the DB here, but Jalen throws a terrible football right there. Gives you really no shot, but avoids the interception. So it's really one of those bang plays of, hey, would we rather risk him throwing a pick, or do we need him to deliver and be that top 5 quarterback that we're paying him to be and make these type of throws, right? These are the type of throws that someone like Russell Wilson can make. So what are we really paying Jalen Hurts for if he can't, right? This next play right here is one that's really infuriating if you're an offensive coordinator, especially one whose job is being called for right now. We're going to motion DeVonta Smith from out wide, get us into a bunch look right here, and it's because we're actually going to have a pretty good play call called up. What we're going to do is we're going to send DeVonta Smith across the formation just like this so that we can run at this outside corner's leverage, and then we're going to break back in on a post. And what that should do is when this guy drops down to guard his hook zone, when this outside corner breaks to his 3rd like he should because they're in cover 3, and this middle of the field corner breaks to his 3rd at the top, he's going to have to come down and guard DeVonta Smith on this crosser over the middle. So what this receiver should do is run at this DB's leverage and then break back to the inside, and the ball should be waiting on him right when he breaks, and it should be a free touchdown on a shot play right here. But it's also important that this wide receiver right here doesn't continue to drift up, but instead comes back to the football to make this throw easier for us. But none of that matters because Jalen Hurts does what he typically does, which is take off running as soon as he has a running lane. You see, he could fit that football in right there if he really stayed in that pocket and fired that ball in. But instead, he saw opening to run and instantly took off. And what he does when he does that is he closes off half the field. And because the whole play was designed to go this way, there's no one for him to throw it to. So he's just take as many yards they'll give him, which is 2, and run out of bounds. When you pay a quarterback $50+ million a year to go out there and deliver and be that top guy, he shouldn't just be escaping semi-clean pockets. He should be making the elite throws that the elite QBs make. Not everything is bad. Here you're going to see they're going to come out in trips, bunch to the strong side of the formation. We're going to have a 2 wide receiver set, except one of them is going to be a tight end because we're ultimately trying to get mismatches over here on the weak side of the field. We're going to motion DeVonta Smith in, and after we motion DeVonta Smith in, Jalen Hurts does a great job of recognizing the coverage and making a great throw to DeVonta Smith out wide. However, it didn't stay that way for long. On this next play here, it was the first interception he threw. Thankfully, it got reversed, so it didn't count, or we could have had a 5-interception game. But all we're trying to do here is beat man coverage. We're going to run a deep curl right here with A.J. Brown. We're going to run across the formation, but obviously we have Derwin James on us, so we're probably not getting open from this. I don't care who the tight end is. And then we're going to have this post where we kind of lean our leverage outside and cut back to the middle. And for a quarterback to make this throw, it's extremely hard. But you have to lead this ball right here, high point it, put it in a perfect spot, kind of in a bucket for your wide receiver. And it only works because we're going to take this safety out wide with this outside release go route. This always has to be an outside release because our goal is to take this safety out of the play. But you see here, it doesn't matter that we take the safety out of the play because Jalen Hurts ends up overthrowing his wide receiver right here. And we throw what should have been an interception. Thankfully, the Chargers DB dropped it when it hit the ground. But hard throw, so it's hard to fault Jalen Hurts for it. But man, we've got to make that throw. I want to look at the end zone view here and show you just how bad Jalen Hurts missed this throw to his wide receiver. I mean, his receiver, I don't think Megatron could have had a shot to come down with this ball. He missed him far and high. Okay, this next one's actually going to be a really good play by Jalen Hurts, and I don't think the TV copy does it justice at all. We're coming out in shotgun with 2 running backs in the backfield. We're going to fake like we're handing it off, flow the play this way, and then set our feet and get ready to throw on this side over here. And we're just going to run a crossing concept here where we're pretty much just leveling off the defense and we're making the throw based off who's open, right? And the reason I say the TV copy doesn't do this justice at all is because I want you to watch this linebacker right here. Watch this linebacker right here. Watch how he tries to bait Jalen Hurts into throwing this and then back up on it instantly. And Jalen Hurts reads his body language, sees that he's going for the interception. Jalen finds his check down right there and makes a great throw, honestly. And the TV copy doesn't do that type of stuff justice. This play right here was probably Jalen Hurts' best completion of the day. I wouldn't say his best ball because I think the one to AJ right before overtime was his best ball. And unfortunately, AJ Brown dropped it. But what we're going to do right here is you see we're going to come out in trips to the boundary right here because what we're going to do is we're going to come out in trips to the strong side of the formation right here. But we're going to motion over DeVonta Smith because that's going to tell us exactly what the defense is in. Right here at the snap of the ball, they've clearly showed us that they're in cover 3. And this concept is incredible by Kevin Patullo to beat cover 3. What we're going to do is we're going to run this guy directly up the seam right at this deep safety, force him to keep retreating to guard this receiver. Then we're going to run DeVonta Smith. Same thing. We've got verticals on this side of the formation. But what we're going to do with A.J. Brown is we're going to let him run a dig right into this zone way deeper than the linebacker's depth is and way shorter than this deep safety is because of how far this slot receiver over here took him out of the play. So just watch this incredible play call. Great decision by Jalen Hurts. Not the best throw. You'd like him to put it in front of A.J. Brown there, but great job there by Jalen Hurts. I love the end zone view of this play, so we're going to check it out because this just reminds me of what the Eagles should be. On a day-to-day basis, when they're operating at their best, this is the Eagles right here. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that because this Eagles offense just isn't executing. Now we're going to look at Jalen Hurts' first interception of the game that counted. And in my opinion, this is the worst play I might have ever seen by an NFL quarterback before, and that is saying a lot. Obviously, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but this just isn't good football by Jalen Hurts. We're going to have A.J. Brown on a jerk route right here. He's going to kind of look like he's going to settle, and he's going to fake out and then run a slant across the middle of the field. We're going to have Jahan Dotson running a seam route or a vertical route right here, right next to him. And the reason this gets so much worse in the all-22 is you're actually going to see Jahan Dotson's going to be wide open. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to trick us. I'll admit it. Usually this tricks a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. We take this D lineman right here and we're going to put him right in this throwing window. He's going to play this zone, and he's going to be the one who picks it off. And you're like, okay, they just baited Jalen Hurts. He dropped to that zone late. No quarterback could have possibly did anything about it, right? But you would be mistakenly wrong. I want you to see how early he gets into this zone. He's sitting there right now. I don't know if Jalen Hurts just thought he was fat, and there was no shot that he could possibly move 2 feet to intercept the ball. I don't know what Jalen Hurts was thinking, but you see, if he puts a good ball on Jahan Dotson, puts it right here and floats it in the air, we have a touchdown. But instead, we're so zoned in on making sure A.J. Brown gets his football because, yes, this route should win against man coverage if there's no robber. But we dropped the D tackle to play the robber over the middle of the field, and clearly he can move or we would not have put him in this position, right? So, I mean, this is just bad. It's just terrible football by Jalen Hurts. And it's even worse that he gets a shot to pick up the fumble, and instead of just taking it and instantly falling to the ground, he tries to make a play afterwards, or either he just didn't corral it good and he tried to, I don't know what he was doing. But I want to look at it from the end zone view because it somehow gets worse. It gets worse. Oh my goodness, it gets worse for Jalen Hurts. Man, that's not good. This is awful football to watch. Feel bad for Eagles fans right now who are calling him a top 5 QB. Okay, now we're going to look at Jalen Hurts' next interception. We're not really going to break down the play too much. I just want to go over why this was an interception. Okay, you see we're coming out here in doubles on both sides of the screen. We're going to motion over DeVonta Smith to get us in trips to the strong side of the formation here. And all we're going to do is we're going to have DeVonta Smith run a curl right here and settle in this zone. And in theory, you'd think this would work. But the reason it doesn't is because DeVonta Smith does not challenge this guy vertically. He doesn't challenge his leverage and force him to realize that he might be going deep. All DeVonta Smith's going to do is instantly go to turn, but DeVonta Smith gets tripped up here, and he's not a big enough receiver to really box out this football. If you're going to run this, why are you not running this with A.J. Brown, right? So DeVonta Smith slips, Dante Jackson gets a pick. He seems like he gets about 6 of them a season, and it's just an unfortunate interception there. Kind of not really on anyone, though. I think the coolest part about me breaking down this play right now is I was just drawing up some plays to beat cover 3 Rip Liz, which is pretty much a type of cover 3 that Nick Saban invented when he was in the NFL to stop the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it really forces the linebackers and the safeties in the formation to really communicate to decipher what we're doing. And what we're going to have here is trips to the strong side of your field, but we're going to motion DeVonta Smith across the formation. And because we do that, we're able to send him deep vertical because we realize they're in cover 3. So we want to eliminate this corner from the equation. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take Dallas Goedert and we're going to send him across the formation. And then what that's going to do is that's going to force this linebacker right here to instantly get his eyes on him. And then this Mike right here who's moving over is going to get his eyes on him too because he's coming from his side of the formation. And what that's going to allow us to do is we're going to slip A.J. Brown through here as if we're running a crosser. But instead of running this crosser, we're going to fake it back and we're going to corner to this outside. This corner is going to have gone high. This linebacker is going to be to the flat, and it's going to really open up a huge window for us to throw this ball. But the reason it works so well is because this linebacker right here is tall. Once A.J. Brown goes inside of you as if he's breaking to this inside, it's now this guy's responsibility. So A.J. Brown takes it back to the outside, picks up a huge chunk gain. Great throw by Jalen Hurts. This is, once again, Eagles football, what we're used to seeing, making things easy for Jalen Hurts and letting him be the distributor that he is. Now we're going to look at Jalen Hurts' third interception. This one is fully on A.J. Brown. He has got to catch this football. Could we put in a slightly better place? Yes. But A.J. Brown has to catch this football. He's got to be ready for it. That just can't happen at the NFL level, especially not from a receiver like him. I'll take it all back. This is Jalen Hurts' best play of the day. The Chargers are going to come out in some variation of cover 3. It's not clear pre-snap actually, but Jalen Hurts reads it out. And we're going to have this post, and look at that throw. I mean, oh my goodness. This is in overtime, by the way. Let's look at it from the end zone view. We're going to get in this play, and yes, Jalen Hurts kind of stares him down the whole time, but man, that is a throw and a half. Now we're going to look at Jalen Hurts' incompletion to A.J. Brown to end the game. Looked good on TV. Looks even better here in the All-22. That is a ball and a half. It's put in the bucket. A.J. Brown cannot drop that. Let's look at it from the end zone view here because I just want you to see how good of a football this is. A.J. Brown is the type of receiver you're paying to make these plays in these moments. He can't be responsible for an interception and the loss at the end of the game. Here we're going to have the most infuriating play if you're an offensive coordinator. You've got first down. You're at the 17-yard line in overtime. All you need is a field goal to tie the game. What is the only thing you can't do here? Turn the ball over. Don't put the football in unnecessary risk. What you're coming out in here is no huddle. You're in the shotgun, and your one job as Jalen Hurts is do not take an unnecessary risk. Try to win the football game, but understand we have a tie to fall back on at worst case, right? We could literally just run the clock out here to win this game. Or tie it, I mean. And look at this ball. It's so unnecessary by Jalen Hurts to even try to attempt this. This is an impossible throw normally. But we're going to take it off a fadeaway? What are we doing? Take the sack, man. Please take the sack. Throw it to the tight end, you know, who's able to body off the corner maybe. Don't throw this football, Jalen Hurts, ever. This Philadelphia Eagles team just does not look like a good football team to me right now. They don't look like they're well coached. Jalen Hurts looks like a bad quarterback, honestly, right now. I hope he gets back into his groove. I really like the dude as a person. But man, we cannot be playing like this as a quarterback making what he's making on this talented of a roster. All right, so let me know down below what you think about Jalen Hurts. Don't just comment, you're an idiot because you said Jalen Hurts sucks and I'm an Eagles fan. I don't think Jalen Hurts fully sucks, but I think he's playing like it right now. So as mentioned, let me know down below and thanks for watching. See ya.